that. And since then, I always used to tell myself that I just don't need to crack exam. I need to set an example. I always used to tell this to myself. I used to always tell this to myself in front of mirror also. I used to say this thing to myself that Prince, you can do it. And if you can do it in class, you can obviously do it in exam also.
Hello everyone. So this interview is going to be a special one because he's the one who I expected since the beginning, without any hesitation. I was expecting Prince Rajora as an JRF candidate for sure, and before that itself he proved not only just qualifying for the JRF, he was qualified with a UG PGT 5th rank, as well as Delhi University All India rank number 1. He was qualified with a multiple examination as a topper, not just a qualifying in nature. So today he's with us. He's going to share a strategy and everything with us. Let us try to interact with him and get more insights about his preparation journey. Hello, Prince. How are you?
Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for having me on your channel. I'm really glad that you gave such a wonderful introduction for me, that you always believed, that you always thought that I was capable enough. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. So your paper 2 is psychology, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, your paper 2 is psychology. And if I can ask you, like, how did you started your preparation, and at which time you started your preparation for the 2021 examination?
Sir, actually, I completed my master's in 2020 December. Then I took an academy subscription in 27th of Jan 2021. I took plus subscription for 3 months. Since my paper 2 was psychology, I started with Hafsa Malik ma'am for paper 2. And for actually in the beginning, for initial few days, I was just practicing paper 2 itself. Exam was scheduled to be on 3rd of May that time, but then it got postponed. For paper 1, I started following Shiva Vodnala sir, that is your classes. And actually, one of my friends suggested once you also had that combined course with Hafsa ma'am, where you and had a combined course. So from that, I came to know about your classes. Then I joined your classes. And then since then, I have followed you for paper 1, and your classes have been so amazing. Your MCQs and your crisp PDFs, comprehensive crisp PDFs, which are to the point, had helped me a lot.
Great. So when you started your preparation for the paper 2, that is psychology, so how many months it took you to complete it?
Sir, actually, since I took subscription for 3 months, and that time exam was scheduled to be held on 3rd of May, 2nd or 3rd of May. So I had 3 months of time. So I had completed my syllabus in 3 months for that time. I had done one revision also. Because I had less time, so I used to study a little more that time. And also for paper 1, I used to take out time, because I know a lot of people do not take out so much time for paper 1, but paper 1 is a very necessary thing if you want to clear JRF. So in 3 months, I was able to complete paper 2.
Paper 2, okay.
Yes.
And if I can ask you, as you cracked these many examinations, which is UG PGT, now you are working as a lecturer in your state also, state government, and
Yes,
All India rank for the Delhi University PhD admission procedure, that was there. So how did you maintain success as a topper? Qualifying is okay, but you are topping every exam. How is this possible?
Sir, since I joined an academy in the beginning, since my background was from IGNU, master's was from distance mode, my psychology was from distance mode, so I did not have good exposure. So when I attended Hafsa ma'am's classes, when I used to score very less marks in the beginning. But initially, I started to analyze what was going wrong and how I could actually increase my marks. So I first of all I saw that what kind of questions come in NET exam, because basically I was preparing for the NET exam. Till then UPPGT and due PhD entrance forms were not out. So I started my preparation for NET JRF. And then slowly and slowly, once I came into the leaderboard of APPSC initially for psychology, then I told myself that now since I have come among the toppers, it's a time to increase my potential. It's the time to come on the top of the leaderboard one day. And soon I was able to do that. And since then I always used to tell myself that I just don't need to crack exam, I need to set an example. I always used to tell this to myself. I used to always tell this to myself in front of mirror also. I used to say this thing to myself that Prince, you can do it, and you, if you can do it in class, you can obviously do it in exam also.
Yes.
And since NET exam is a very big exam, it has a lot of syllabus. So UPPGT was specifically related to psychology. So NET JRF preparation helped me a lot in UPPGT itself. And that DU PhD, I got all India rank first in the written examination for psychology. That was also due to the paper two I studied from APPSC itself.
Great. So majorly your paper 2 has making you more strong everywhere.
Yes, sir. Because those two exams had paper two only.
Yes, that was our core area, right?
Yes.
And if I can ask you the paper 1 strategy for your JRF, so what you will tell about it?
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, when I came to know about your classes, I liked one thing very much about your classes, that the information your PDF heads, the slides which you bought in the class were very specific, very to the point, and very relevant, from which the questions comes in exam. They were not irrelevant information, because already paper one is very vast. So that actually helped me a lot. I studied from all the for few units I could not take your classes because of so many exams I was giving. So for those units I made sure that I actually went through the PDFs, and for other units I attended your live classes. Also, sir, I want to mention one course of yours on special, that you took one day one concept. That
Yes.
was amazing. I can say that that is the best course on an academy for paper one. I can say that because in that course you included the most important topics with the most important points, and the questions which have come in the previous year examinations. So also for paper one, I went for the PYQs, since you told us that a lot of PYQs get repeated. So I went with the PYQs from 2018, 19, and 21, all shift 22, 2020. I solved all the PYQs of all the shifts, and that in that way I could see that where I'm lacking, what part needs more hard work. And also I used to give mock examinations on an academy. So once I got 100 marks also, I shared that with you also after I used to attend your classes. Once I got 100 out of 100 in mock, and I also got an academy accelerate scholarship. That was also because of your classes only. So your classes have immensely helped me a lot in paper one. Though I will say that I'm still not satisfied with my paper one score. It's 76. I could score more, but I don't know what happened. Maybe exam anxiety or something like that. But I could have scored better in paper one because you taught us really well.
Great. And I still remember the days where you are continuously topping on a special classes. Continuous top, when we used to have a series like we used to publish the photo of the toppers, top 10 or top 5 we used to publish. So every time I need to keep your photo. I need to keep your photo because I know that you will come for sure. That same photos, I need to keep it on the slide. So you didn't give me opportunity to change that one from the top 5, or you will always be on top 1. Otherwise, at least you will try to maintain in top 1. That is of rare cases. So when you are in the class also,
Yes,
other students will automatically expect that Prince is going to come on top, obviously. That was a different type of, because if somebody is doing something which is, they can come 1 or 2 times only. If somebody is coming continuously, matlab something is there inside. Without that, they will not come just like that, because questions are different every day. Questions are new. Questions are, even though some days are PYQs, but some days we were used to have like expected MCQs and all. So that was a still I remember those days. Mainly you and Sangram I used to remember, because you both were
Yes, sir.
so competitive each other from the different subject. That was a healthy competition.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
if I can ask you the previous year questions for the both paper, whether you take it for paper 1 or paper 2, how did you solve those questions?
Actually, sir, for paper one, you had shared, you had taken many classes also, and you had shared your PDFs also, which contained all the PYQs. So after completing the PYQs from your PDFs, the questions which I was not able to solve, I used to go to your classes and used to see the explanation for that question. And for paper two, also, Hafsa ma'am has taken a lot of PYQ classes, and also there is a PDF from where we can solve last 10 or 12 year PYQs. So I used to solve from those two PDFs. And also, sir, I would like to mention here that uh, both for you and both for Hafsa ma'am, that you both have really made a great, very good quality MCQs in your classes, which actually made our concepts strong, because PYQs do not get repeated as it is.
Yes.
They change or they modify it a little bit, but the concept remains there. So you made us learn the concept in many different ways. One type of question, then from that concept, another type of question in another class. So repeated practice because of those MCQs actually helped me a lot to retain. And I still remember your marathon you had taken on YouTube. Once you said in your Telegram channel also that for Indian logic that was some 3 hours or
Yes.
long. उसमें मेरा सारा पूरा syllabus complete हो गया Indian logic और logical reasoning का. That is one of your best classes of Indian logic.
Great, great. Thank you so much. And if I can ask you about note making, how will you tell about it for both papers?
Sir, actually, my strategy is a little bit different. It's not a lot of people's strategy. I have never made notes for paper one and paper two, actually, because I thought that already. I'll tell you, for both the educators I followed, for you also and for Hafsa ma'am also, your PDFs were just like notes itself. So they were already so comprehensive and accurate that उसमें से और extract आप नहीं कर सकते हो. So that was actually enough. और उसको पढ़ के जाना ही काफी था. So I did not waste my time. It might not be a good word to use, that waste your time. Obviously, a lot of people make notes, but my strategy was that I used to just read the PDFs again and again, and that used to help me a lot. Because I was a little bit lazy also to not make notes. Since the beginning of my school time, I never used to make notes. So that has been my strategy for this thing.
And how your daily routine used to be throughout the preparation? Were you working anywhere in the preparation process, or else you were only on the preparation?
In the initial for the most of my preparation time, I was not working anywhere. So I used to have a lot of time, and I used to make sure that I study for 6 to 8 hours at least. But I never used to set hours कि आज इतने घंटे पढ़ना है. I used to say to myself that today I'll try to read this topic or this unit. Like for paper one, if I talk about, I decided to study research method. So I'll study research method until I do not get bored for that day. And if I get bored, then I'll switch to paper two. So that will help me. I did not burden myself by telling myself that no, today I'll have to study paper one for 4 hours, or I have to complete this whole PDF. That brain that, oh, we have to complete this, and then it becomes a task. So rather than making it a task, we should try to enjoy. जितनी देर तक we are able to enjoy, we should enjoy. और अगर हमने 2 घंटे डिसाइड किया, तो not necessary कि 2 घंटे, हो सकता है आपको और अच्छा लगे 3 घंटे पढ़ लो, हो सकता है किसी दिन कम मन कर रहा है. So try to make a learning process enjoyable.
Great. So there is a one specific question which I was hearing from all. So I just wanted to ask you also what you will tell about that one. Like, how did you tackle the people and environment topic from the paper one?
Actually, sir, my background is in biology, and I used to like environmental education in school also. So I had a little good command over this unit already. But then those years and things like convention and all, those were given in your PDF. So I somehow tried to remember those. And people in environment questions are generally easy. The unit is difficult, but the questions are relatively easy. If you know a little bit of environment, if you know a little bit of few important topics, questions come from there itself. So we knew those topics since you already repeatedly made us do the questions for those topics. So we knew those topics. So I'll say that whenever educator says, for example, you used to say this is an important point, mark it, or this PDF is important, or this class is important. So we should actually follow. We come for strategy class, we watch it, but we somehow we do not follow it. We should strictly follow. We should be disciplined in our preparation, because JRF is not that easy also, because everyone wants JRF. So there is a big competition. So in a way, we have to be very disciplined in our preparation.
Great. Because everybody will listen to the strategy classes, but very less people will implement it. That is true. And like you are the first person who told the people and environment is easy. Like at least I heard one person. Like, unit number 9 is somehow easy, even though at least we can't able to get 5 by 5 in that unit, but we can try for a minimum questions to be corrected, because 50 by 50 is not our target. We can get a minimum questions possible in that.
Yes.
And
We should have a
moreover,
target of 8.
yes.
Yes, yes.
So your score is 76, right? Still you are not satisfied in the paper 1.
Yes.
So how much you scored in a paper 2?
146.
146. That means around 73 questions correct.
73 questions correct in paper 2, and 38 questions correct in paper 1.
38 is a good one, because and please tell me your strategy towards DI and RC.
Towards DI.
DI and reading comprehension.
Sir, for DI, there are a few pattern of questions which gets repeated every year or the other year. So if we do the PYQs of DI, this thing you told in your class also, that DI, data interpretation, PYQs gets repeated, and you made us do a lot of practice of that in special class also. So, and that is just calculation. People just fear digits. They do not get a hang of these things just because they fear digit numericals. But once you actually see the questions, they are very easy. They are just multiplication and division and a little bit of logical reasoning and analysis. So I don't think that DI is difficult. What is difficult is that we block our mind. It's a psychological blockade that DI, okay, no, maths I can't do. And in our psychology also, people did not used to study paper 1 at all, not just DI, mostly paper 1 at all, just because paper 2 is more interesting, because we have done our masters in paper 2, but we need to clear an exam. So we do not need to see just our interest. We need to see the exam perspective also.
Correct. And if I can ask you, the exam day, when the exam date finally got announced, final exam day, before 1 month, what was your task?
Sir, actually, when exam already got postponed, I was actually waiting for exam to come. Even we all were waiting for exam to come, that somehow NT conduct this exam. So when the exam dates get announced, we all became so excited. And already our syllabus was complete, because we have been studying these things for so long. So I decided that I should revise each and everything. Should not go for any new topic, nothing new, just revise whatever I have studied till now. So revision. Even in psychology, we read many theories on memory and how we can retain more, but we do not actually apply. So I tried to apply, if we do a revision of something which we learned within 24 hours, we retain it maximum. So that was my strategy. Whatever I used to study, like PDFs, if I am studying a PDF, if I'm watching your class, I need to go back and see that PDF of that class, which I watched within 24 hours, to see whether I remember. Just a glimpse I can do, not whole class I have to watch again, but I can see the slides at least. So in that way, I can actually get through those things again, and that will make me retain maximum out of it.
Okay. How about the role of yes, please.
Yes, sir. Yeah, one more thing. In the last month, I made sure that I did all the PYQs again, and also MCQ, your MCQ classes and Hafsa ma'am's MCQ classes. She also launched a special course on MCQs on Plus itself, Plus platform itself, and you also launched many MCQ classes that time. So I used to make sure that maximum practice, so that exam fear also goes away. I get a hang of solving questions within time. So because sometimes time management is also important, because once we waste a lot of time on some questions in paper 1, we are left with very little time in paper 2. So that time management will come when we do simulated practice. So I used to do simulated practice also. I used to make sure that I'll sit for 3 hours, because 3 ghante baithna is a big thing. We solve one class for 1 hour, we watch one class for 1.5 hours, but we should make a practice of sitting for 3 hours and solving questions, because in 3 hours, when we solve questions with our full focus, our brain gets little short circuited. That happens in exam. So we should actually try it before exam, so that we do not get so nervous in exam.
So as you are telling 3 hours we need to sit. For that, what you have done? Like, did you give any mock test before going to the exam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I used to take mock tests on Academy, and I used to solve PYQs. And for paper one, paper two, both mock tests are there on Academy for our paper also. And Hafsa ma'am also used to give us MCQs. So I used to make a list of those MCQs, and 100 questions I used to solve, just like it comes in NET exam. And for paper one also, I used to take 50 questions, and then I used to solve within the stipulated time. And I used to make sure that I solve that within 2.5 hours, so that I can recheck also my questions there in exam.
Great. And final one, if I can ask you about mainly the exam day, that 3 hours. So what was your strategy to tackle the paper? Like, did you have any prioritization that I need to solve DA and RC first? Later I should go for the remaining. And in the paper two also, do you have any reading comprehension questions? So how did you tackle total 150 questions with a, like, in the beginning and in the end, how you tackle the time also?
Sir, actually, I had already practiced so much that time was not an issue when I went to exam. I already knew that I will be able to solve questions within time. So, and also, every one of us has our favorite units for paper one, also paper two also, and we have among both papers also we have favorite paper out of those two. So mostly we have our second paper as our favorite. So I started with my paper two, so that actually that can motivate my confidence, because I was better prepared. I always had this thing in my mind that I am better prepared for paper two, though I used to score good in paper one also. But this is a psychological thing that we start with something which we believe that we are more confident in. Yes. And that actually gave me confidence. When I saw questions which I had already studied in class, that gave me confidence, and that even made me happy that okay, exam is easy and I'll be able to solve it. I'll be able to clear JRF. And while I was giving exam, when I was seeing that I'm able to solve good number of questions easily, I was thinking that Prince, now you have to try to get all India rank. So that was coming in my mind, and I became more cautious. Then I made sure that I read questions twice, but still a few mistakes everyone makes. I have also made a few silly mistakes. That happens. That's a part and parcel of our life. And then sir, I went to paper one. And paper one also, paper one was little difficult this time. I'll say that this is my personal experience. This Indian logic and all, this thing were little difficult in my shift at least. I do not know about the other shift. So then I went for paper one also. Paper one I was finding a little bit difficult. But then since we had studied with you for so long, I was sure that I'll get 70 plus for sure. So I was very sure of JRF, and actually I was not thinking of JRF at all. I'll tell you very honestly. I was thinking of a rank from the beginning itself. Even you motivated me for that. I still have those messages of yours. Even Hafsa motivated me a lot that I
highlighted after the result. Great. It's actually I am very happy that you have quoted that message now, which I told you. You are going to get All India rank. So at that, yes, once I saw that one, I was very happy, extremely, because we will not get a feeling all the time with all the learners, this thing. So sometimes when we are reiterating the same message. Yes.
I want to mention one more thing, that when your educator believes in you, so that gives us a big confidence that the one who is teaching us has a belief in us, has a confidence in us, has some expectations from us. Yes. So we try to work even more harder. There's a term for this in psychology, self-fulfilling prophecy. So when our educator or teacher, expects something out of us, something positive out of us, we naturally strive to work towards it. And that has happened with me. I'll tell you seriously, that has happened with me. You also used to tell me this thing. Even Hafsa ma'am used to motivate me and encourage me, and eventually that has actually happened.
Great. So finally, you are a lecturer, you are an All India ranker, whether it is of any exam. That is what the conclusion. Simply the key is that you have maintained a consistency in your preparation entirely, and you are also very clear about your both papers. It is from the examination perspective and the conceptual clarity perspective. You are very clear since the beginning. So that made you to a topper today. You are standing in here. So I'm sure that you will crack other examination very easily, and your whatever the future endeavors are there. For that, I'm wishing you very all the best and all the successes with you. You will become an assistant professor as well very soon.
Thank you so
From
much.
the lecturer to assistant professor, it will be very soon. Thank you,
Thank you
Prince.
so much. With your blessings and sir, with your support, hopefully soon I'll do what you just said about me.
Yes. Thank you so much sharing your entire insights with us. And that's all about that this video. And I hope this will be a pakka inspiration to many, because a normal candidate to All India ranker. So he was qualified. He was doing his masters from the IGNO, which is a distance education, to an All India ranker. So where we are a regular students. What we are doing, we need to think and recheck once again. So it's a lesson for you from the Prince Rajora. Signing off, Shiva Vodnala. Thank you so much.